Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram Nam Nam
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram
Krishna Hare
Nam
Hare,
Nam
Ram
Nam
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Ram
Ram
Ram, Ram
Nam
Ram, Hare
Nam Nam Nam,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Nam
Krishna,
Nam Nam,
Krishna Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Nam
Ram,
Nam
Hare
Nam,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama Nam
Hare
Nam
Krishna,
Nam,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Nam
Krishna
Nam,
Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Nam
Krishna,
Nam
Krishna
Nam,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram, Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama
Ram
Nam
Ram,
Nam
Ram
Nam,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare, Ram
Hare
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare Nam Nam,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Nam
Hare
Nam
Krishna,
Nam,
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare, Ram
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama
Ram
Nam
Ram
Nam
Ram
Nam,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Hare, Ram
Hare
Ram Ram,
Rama
Hare
Nam Nam Nam, Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram,
Nam
Hare
Nam Nam
Hare
Nam,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Nam
Hare Krishna,
Nam
Krishna
Nam
Krishna,
Nam,
Hare Hare, Ram Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Nam
Ram Ram,
Nam
Hare
Nam Nam, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Ram Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Rama
Hare
Nam
Krishna,
Nam
Hare
Nam,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama
Krishna, Krishna
Nam
Krishna,
Nam
Hare
Nam
Hare,
Nam,
Hare Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare Ram
Nam
Hare
Nam
Ram
Nam,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Nam
Krishna, Krishna
Nam,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Nam
Ram
Nam
Hare Ram
Nam,
Ram Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Ram
Nam
Hare Ram Ram Ram,
Nam
Hare
Nam,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Nam Nam
Hare
Nam,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Nam Nam Nam, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Nam
Ram
Nam
Ram,
Nam,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare, Ram Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Nam Nam
Krishna,
Nam,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Nam Nam
Krishna,
Nam,
Hare Hare, Ram Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Nam
Ram Hare
Nam
Ram
Nam,
Ram Ram,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Nam Nam
Krishna,
Nam,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare Hare,
Nam
Hare
Nam
Ram Hare
Nam,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare Ram Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Nam Nam
Hare
Nam,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Jai Shri
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Nam
Chaitanya
Nam
Prabhu
Nam Nam,
Nityananda
Hare
Shri
Krishna,
Advaita
Hare Krishna,
Gadadhar
Krishna
Srivasati
Krishna,
Gaur
Hare Hare,
Bhakta
Hare Ram, Hare Nam Nam
Namacharya
Nam,
Haridas Thakur ki
Hare
jai, Bhakti
Krishna,
Devi
Hare
Kesari
Krishna,
Maharani ki
Krishna
jai, Jagat
Krishna,
Guru
Hare
Sri
Hare,
Prabhupada Sri
Hare
Gurudev
Ram,
ki
Hare
jai,
Nam Nam Nam, Hare Hare,
Yamuna
Hare
Maharani
Krishna,
ki
Hare
jai,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Nam
Ram,
Nam
Hare
Nam, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Nam
Krishna, Hare
Nam
Krishna,
Nam,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Nam
Hare,
Nam
Ram
Nam,
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Nam
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram,
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Hare
kripa sindhu evacha
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Patibhyo
Hare
Vaishnavyo
Nam
Namo
Nam
Namo
Nam Hare Hare Hare
अनंत
Krishna
वैष्णव
Hare
वृंद
Krishna
की जय, आचार्य हरदास ठाकुर जी की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Good morning, dear devotees. This is Shivani from Ashwin, Virginia. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Please forgive me for stopping your beautiful chanting. Let us move to our next part of the session, which is Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Adi khanda, chapter 12, verses 153 to 157. May I ask who will join this morning?
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas, and hope you feel well, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a wonderful association and for all your seva. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Yes, I'm better now. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण शिवानी माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। प्रीति दासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving a wonderful and beautiful association today, and for all your seva and chanting every day. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। आर यू सिक माता जी?
I have pain in my arms, Mataji, because I had a car accident, so it's getting worse. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now it's better now?
It's okay. It's not better, but it's okay. Please just keep me in your prayers.
Okay, sure, माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining Mataji every day and giving a wonderful and beautiful association. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your warm welcome. And our prayers that we feel better soon. This is Preeti Vilasani from Atlanta.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving a wonderful and beautiful association. So happy to have you on the call and your great association. Thank you so much for your prayers, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, dear
Mataji.
devotees. This is Mother Sucharya calling from Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much for your association and your chanting steadily every day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining every day and giving a wonderful and beautiful association. Very happy to have you on the call. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago. And Mataji, I hope you will get better.
Thank you so much,
very
Mataji.
soon.
Hare Krishna Yashomati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining every day and for your wonderful chanting every single day. We are very happy to have you on the call. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and giving a wonderful association and for chanting every single day. Very happy to have you on the call. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Is there anyone else who would like to announce their name?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Dev, Srila Prabhupada, and all the Vaishnavas. Please feel better, Mataji. This is Fabia from Atlanta.
Hare Krishna, Flavia Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a wonderful and beautiful association. Very happy to have you on the call. Thank you for your warm wishes. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you all once again at Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. I would like to share a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. Give me just 1 second. Shortcut of demon crazy in democracy. All the demons are and rows are gathered together. Somehow or other, votes and occupancy the seat. And the business is plundering. Mayapur, September 28, 1974. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on Adi Khanda, chapter 12, verses 153 to 157. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Radhika Kasturi Mataji, thank you so much for giving us your valuable time and wonderful association this morning. We're looking forward to hearing from you eagerly. We were very honored to have you on the call, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Did Mataji join us Bhakti Sangha? Or Mataji is not there on the call?
He's not there on the call, Mataji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, 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 Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Ram
Ram.
Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram
Can
Hare.
we start reading the verses? Let me know once she joins. Prabhi icha maya gaura chandra bhagavan sarvagnera ghare prabhu karila prayan. The supremely independent Lord Gaurachandra then went to the house of an astrologer.
Mataji joined.
Oh.
Sorry, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time and wonderful association this morning. We're looking forward very eagerly to hear from you, Mataji. Very happy to have you on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Om Agyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakana Lalita Shri Vishakam Sha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhana Devi Daityaya Kripade Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premade Shri Rupanuga Bhakti Sita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Thank you for joining today's call. So let's get started with the today's verses and without wasting any further time. Thank you, dear devotees, for patiently waiting. Okay, so we are going to start from 153 of Caitanya Bhagavata chapter 12. So it's a beautiful, interesting section, and I definitely want to talk about different themes in the section. So let's get started with the first verse, 153. Tabe chamaya gaura chandra bhagavan sarvajna gare prabhu karela payan. It says, the supremely independent Lord Gaurachandra then went to the house of an astrologer. We are all interested to know what he did, isn't it? Of course, we are definitely looking forward to that section as to what Gaurachandra did with the astrologer. 154. Dekhiya Prabhura Teja Sei Sarvajnan Vinaya Sambrama Kari Karila Pranam. An astrologer saw the effulgence of the Lord and he humbly offered obeisances. The word Sarvagnya in common language refers to the one who is perfect in Vishnu mantras, who is omniscient and who knows the past, present and future. Sarvagnya. So this astrologer is said to be the one who knows the past, present and future. And that is why we have the specific term Sarvagnya used in the verse as such. 155. Prabhu bole tumi sarvajnana bhala suni, bolo dekhi anya janme ki chillana ami. The Lord asked him, I have heard that you are a good astrologer. Could you please tell me who I was in my previous birth? Of course, the point here is that a good astrologer can tell who we are in the previous birth. So that's what the translation says. Okay, now 156. Bala bali sarvagnya sukruti chinte mane japite Gopal Mantra teke se ikshane. The pious astrologer agreed to the Lord's request and began to chant the Gopal Mantra within the mind. So now, this Gopal Mantra is the 6th mantra out of the 7 mantras that are given for the second initiates. And that is what this astrologer is chanting. Now, the last verse for today. Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Chaturbhuja Shyama Srivatsa Kaustubha Vakshe Mahajyotir Dhama. English translation says, at the moment, the astrologer saw the beautiful blackish personality with 4 hands holding the conch, the disc, the club, and the lotus flower. His chest was decorated with Srivatsa and the brilliantly effulgent Kaustubha gem. We have the commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura for this particular verse. It says, the Shankha refers to the Panchajanya conch, and the word Chakra refers to what? The Sudarshana Chakra. And the Gada refers to the Kaumodaki club. Padma refers to the Srivasa lotus. This is actually stated in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Now, what is told in chapter 14 of Brahma Vaivarta Purana? It says, behold Lord Hare, who is holding the conch, disc, club, and lotus in 4 hands. His enchanting form is blackish like a new rain cloud. So now, there's also some more explanation here. Srivatsa is the Upanga or the secondary limb of Lord Vishnu, situated in the white tuft of hair curling clockwise on his chest. The devotees of Sri Krishna accept Srivatsa as a special jewel like Kaustubha, which adorns his chest of the Lord. And there is a quotation from Laghu Bhagavatamrita here. It says, the most effulgent Kaustubha gem is as brilliant as millions of suns. How can the source of all illumination be compared to a lamp? The name of Lord Vishnu's conch is Panchajanya. The white hairs on the chest that curl clockwise is called Srivatsa. The sword, this is quite interesting. The sword is called Nandaka. And his club, we all know it's Kaumodaki. His bow is Sharanga. His disc is Sudarshana. The jewel that he has in his hand is called Shamantaka. And the jewel he has in his chest is called Kaustubha. So these are all what is being said. And so I thought this particular commentary is interesting because it talks about conch, disc, club, lotus flower, and the Kaustubha jewel on the chest. So it's pretty interesting purport by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura. So coming to today's section, right? If you look at today's section, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually gave mercy to the astrologer to see that he was Lord. He was none other than Lord Krishna himself. And the point to be noted here, dear devotees, is that the Lord has to actually give mercy, right? To the astrologer also. He could be Sarvagnya, but who actually empowers him? It's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's non-different from Lord Krishna himself. So this is what is the learning. If you look at the astrologer theme and his interactions that he had with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually gave mercy to the astrologer to see that he was none other than Lord Krishna himself. So this is a beautiful theme that we will be trying to understand in today's class. Apart from that, if we have time, we will try to go through the pastimes that is being talked about in the last verse, where Krishna actually used, we can try to see the pastime with regards to Komodaki and so on. So let's keep that as the second theme. But the first primary theme that I want to talk about in today's class is to help us all understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually non-different from Lord Krishna. Before that, I want to actually contrast the pastime that we have here, where this astrologer is actually able to predict, and he's able to say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Lord Krishna. And we also, when we look at it as a contrast from Krishna's pastime, what is being talked about there? We all know Gargamuni's prediction, isn't it, of Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I thought probably we can get started with today's verse by going through that section of Gargamuni's prediction on Krishna, like how we have a comparative theme here of the astrologer saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Lord Krishna. So now, coming back to Krishna's pastime, we all know the story, but it's always interesting to hear this pastimes of Krishna again and again, isn't it? So let's all relish the pastime. So one day, we all know the priest of Yadu dynasty, who's Gargamuni, he actually came to the house of Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj, how did he welcome him? He duly respected him, paid obeisances to him, and he said, "Oh, Gargamuni, you're so well versed in the Vedas, the science of astrology, everything you're well versed. Can you please perform the name ceremony of my two boys?" Like that, Nanda Maharaj requested Gargamuni. And Gargamuni said, "My dear Nanda Maharaj, I am the priestly guide of the Yadu dynasty. This is known everywhere. Therefore, if I'm going to perform a purificatory process for your sons, Kamsa will definitely consider they are all the sons of Devaki." So Nanda Maharaj said, Oh, if that is the case, my dear sage, if you think performing this process of purification will make Kamsa suspicious, then what we can do is you can secretly chant the Vedic hymns and perform the purificatory process in the cowshed, a cowshed of my house, without knowledge to anyone else. I don't want anybody to know, even my relatives. I'll keep it as a secret, and you can perform the process of purification there in the shed. This is what I want you to do. So having thus, now he has expressed his interest, and Gargamuni now performs the naming ceremony of Krishna and Balaram in a very solitary place. Gargamuni saying, this son of Rogini, he will give all happiness to the relatives and the friends by his transcendental qualities. Therefore, he is going to be known as who? Rama. And because he will manifest extraordinary bodily strength, he will also be known as Bala, because of his bodily strength. Moreover, because he is going to unite the two families, that is Vasudeva's family and your family, he is also going to be called as Sankarshana. Now, coming to our dear Krishna. Krishna, he says, Gargamuni's prediction. What is he saying? Krishna, he appears every incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he's assumed different colors. He's assumed different colors, just white, red, and yellow. And now he has appeared in the blackish color. For many reasons, this beautiful son of yours, Krishna, sometimes previously also referred to as son of Vasudeva, he is going to have many forms and names, and his transcendental qualities and activities are going to definitely be so blissful. So to increase the transcendental bliss of the cowherd men of Gokula, this child Krishna is going to be auspiciously there for you, and he will act in auspicious ways throughout his stay with you. And by his grace only, you're going to surpass all the difficulties. This is what Gargamani said to Nanda Maharaj. And Nanda Maharaj recorded this as a history because he definitely was so happy to hear this from Gargamani, and he recorded this. And then he actually thanked Gargamuni for everything that he did in terms of the purificatory process. And then Gargamuni actually departed to his own home. And Nanda Maharaj was very, very pleased because he considered it to be a great fortune to hear from Gargamuni. So this is what is the brief story that I wanted to encapsulate to actually show the contrast that, Krishna, we had the prediction from Gargamuni, and now we have this astrologer here who Sarvajna, and he is actually trying to prove the point that Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. So now coming back to our very important theme, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Lord Krishna himself. And this is the theme. This is the first theme I'm going to talk about in today's class. I'm really looking forward to this because talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glories is definitely special to my heart. And, I'm definitely looking forward to talking about it now. So coming to Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a beautiful section of Pratapara Maharaj and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I know many of you might have heard this pastime, but definitely I want to bring out some subtle nuances to this pastime, which probably you may not have noticed. So I wanted to kind of bring those points to you so that you can relish those and definitely have it etched in your hearts. So now I'm not going to talk about, I'm directly coming to the section where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to take sannyas, because in those days, sannyasis were of high status and everyone respected the sannyasis. They were actually treated with a lot of reverence and respect. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually decided to choose a place. And this place that he chose was he was going to go and preach in Jagannath Puri. And as a contrast, if you look at Srila Prabhupada, when he was asked, why did you come to America? Why did you actually start your mission in America? And Srila Prabhupada replied, my godbrothers actually went to Germany, they went to UK, but they all failed there. So I thought, why not I go to America? If I fail, at least it will be somewhere else, right? It's not going to be the same place my godbrothers tried. And this is exactly the same logic that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to use. Meaning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to start everything from scratch in this place called Jagannath Puri. And Jagannath Puri, of course, the movement that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started there was a resounding success. And King Pratapara Maharaj in Jagannath, he was there in Jagannath Puri. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his first mission in Jagannath Puri. And who was the first person he was converting there? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was the first person that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made as a Vaishnava. And that was not an easy job at all. So because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was actually turned into a Vaishnava. And now Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was Pratapara Maharaj's chief advisor. So King Pratapara Maharaj, he was himself a Vaishnava. And he actually became a zealous devotee. That is a very, very enthusiastic devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually left the world, Pratapara Maharaj was completely overwhelmed with grief because he had basically given up his kingdom. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's departure, he could not tolerate that grief. A separation from a Vaishnava is something that a Vaishnava can only understand. Those feelings and emotions that is being felt by a devotee is something that is really, that cannot be explained in words. Because our attachment to Guru Maharaj, our attachment to the Vaishnavas, our attachments it's not at a mundane plane, isn't it? Because we want to surpass this mundane plane and establish a relationship which is beyond these three modes. That's what at least we are trying. It may not happen, but theoretically we need to know that this is what we are trying, and we will be, I mean, if we have the sincere desire, it is definitely possible to surpass and be in that relationship where there is no greed, there is no anger, or there is no enviousness amongst the devotees as well. So this is definitely possible. And now, if you look at Pratapara Maharaj, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left the world, he was feeling it was difficult for him to take that, and he was overwhelmed with grief. And after that, he basically gave up his kingdom. He desired to go to Vrindavan. And on the way to Vrindavan, what happened to him was he fell on the ground, started rolling and crying. And this was something he became, due to this emotional state, he actually became very ill also. And as a result of the illness, he actually left the body in a few years. So this was how much he was dedicated. And between this period, he also started worshipping the Murti form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just wanted to give you a brief introduction about who this Pratapara Maharaj was and how and what kind of devotee he was and what sort of relationship he had with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how as soon as he heard the news of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, he was overwhelmed with grief, and on the way to Vrindavan, he started rolling, crying, and again, he was in the simplest of the clothes. Being a king, he transferred his ownership to his son, and then he departed off to Vrindavan. But due to this emotional state, what happened? On the way, he just collapsed, and as a result of illness, he just left the body in the few years itself. But the important point to be noted is that he was worshipping the Murti form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now, coming back, so I just wanted to kind of now get into the story of Pratapara Maharaj and how he got the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and what happened as a result. Okay. So during this period, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived in where? Jagannath Puri, Pratapara Maharaj was engaged in a war with who? Vijayanagar Empire, specifically with the king named Krishna Devaraya. Okay, there were fights in the southern territories, and basically he was defeated because Krishna Devaraya actually used forbidden methods of warfare. They had an intense fight, but this intense fight, what happened? Krishna Devaraya actually won because of some forbidden means of using some things in the warfare. So in any case, he was very, very busy with this intense conflict, and he returned to Jagannath Puri and heard from many different people about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually coming to Jagannath Puri. And he really wanted to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, we have Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He himself told to Pratapara Maharaj that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than God himself. He is the Lord of the universe, and he has come to settle in your kingdom. He actually, this is what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually told to Pratapara Maharaj. Imagine if we were given, if we were told somebody is there in your place, the Lord himself is there, lives in your place. How good of a fortune it is, right? You may want to see him because he is God himself. Somebody says, yeah, God has come to your place and he lives in your place. And who's not going to be fortunate to go and see him? He is the Lord of the universe, said Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And now, Maharaj, he felt so lucky, right? So now, he saw the devotees of Bengal coming to Puri, and he was eager to meet all the devotees. So he was looking forward to meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also along with the devotees, and he wanted to also meet the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And somehow Pratapara Maharaj, he happened to see the Harinam Sankirtan along with the devotees, and when he happened to see it, he felt this Jagannath Puri itself became so so radiant, effulgent. And he felt as if this whole city was overflowing with love. See, these devotees and the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they all were chanting the holy names of the Lord with such love that he felt this place has become so radiant, this place has become so beautiful, this place has become so effulgent, and I'm not able to express in words. He feels as if he has never experienced anything of the sort any time in his life. This is kind of the feeling that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is the kind of the feeling that Pratapara Maharaj felt upon seeing the ecstatic Sankirtan party that was happening in Jagannath Puri. This was the first experience, his first interaction with the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And his anticipation actually increased 100-folds. He expected to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now his eager and anxiousness arose so much to the point that he was waiting for an opportunity. That eagerness is something that a devotee hankers, right? If you have enthusiasm and eagerness, only then you can actually perform devotional service with joy. Otherwise, what happens? Devotional service will become monotonous, mechanical. Oh yeah, I have to chant, I have to prepare for a lecture, I have to start doing the deity worship. Oh yeah, it has to be done, it has to be done. Check box, check box, check box. So this mechanical devotional service has to at some point transition, and it has to become the devotional service has to come from the heart. This is what a devotee hankers for, because whenever we have the heart to heart connection, that experience is something only a devotee can understand, because the feelings that he goes through internally, where he's so satisfied, so peaceful, so blissful, this state is something the devotee hankers for. And now we can see that Pratapara Maharaj was so anxious to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers, and he had this desire etched in his heart. But we kind of see that he encountered variety of problems to actually meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Rai, they were trying to arrange for a meeting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but for some reason it did not fructify. And finally, somehow Prataparudra Maharaj, because with the Lord actually sees the desires in your heart, right? If your desire is sincere, if your desire is pleasing, and definitely those desires are going to be answered. And we can see this as an example from Prataparudra Maharaj's case as well. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he avoided the interactions with Prataparudra Maharaj, considering him because he is a king. And sannyasi is not supposed to have so much interactions with the king, isn't it? So that is why the meeting did not fructify. And finally, because his desire was sincere, he happened to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the garden of Jagannath Balava. And Prataparudra Maharaj, he was sitting there with the simple clothes, and he was chanting from Gopi Geet. Yatitetikam janmana braja. Like that, he was chanting. He was repeating these slokas. At some point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knowing very well this was Prataparudra Maharaj, whom he has refused to meet, but at the end of the moment, listening to the slokas of Gopi Geet, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to jump up, and he began to embrace Maharaj Prataparudra. When Maharaj Prataparudra chanted the 9th sloka of Gopi Geet, Kavakatamrutam tapta jivanam kavibirizitam kalmashapakam shravanamangalam. Like that, he started to chant the 9th sloka of Gopi Geet. And this sloka, when he chanted, he was like, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he heard this, okay? And this sloka describes those people who are burida, who are really generous, who want to do something good for all people. And those who want to do good for all people, where are they? They roam around throughout the world, and they chant the holy names of the Lord, and they talk about the glories of Krishna and the glories of Krishna Katha. And they distribute the Krishna Katha to everyone. At that moment, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not he could not restrain himself. He jumped up and he began to embrace Pratapara Maharaj. He said, Purita Jana, you are the most generous man in this whole world. Because why? Because you gave me the love of God. You gave me. You are the most generous person. And of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the love of God in his heart. But at that moment, he was embracing Pratapara Maharaj. Now, imagine the Lord is embracing a devotee. And what would be the feelings of a devotee? Can you imagine that? This feeling is something that we cannot imagine because this is inconceivable. He experienced extraordinary intensity of feelings. He finally understood the direct meaning of Gopi Geet because the Lord embraced him. He was chanting the Gopi Geet. Of course, he knew Gopi Geet by heart. He knew Gopi Geet memorized. He knew Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said that he was very, Pratapara Maharaj is no ordinary person. He was very well educated. He knew the entire Srimad Bhagavatam by heart. Every day, before beginning his duty, he would chant Srimad Bhagavatam and Ramayana, and that was his habit. Before fighting, he would go to the battlefield. He would first chant Srimad Bhagavatam and Ramayana. But what happened when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him? What happened? He understood what all Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. He actually understood it because we all understand theoretically Srimad Bhagavatam. We can all memorize it. We can, we can give many lectures on the topic. But did we actually realize the topic? To realize means you have to have the love of God. So this is the important derivation from this particular pastime. At this point, Pratapara, he became 100% devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He realized he is Lord, none other than Lord. He is God himself. And no one else can do this to me. He experienced it. Practically experiencing is different and theoretically understanding is different, right? Some subjects, Krishna is inconceivable. Certain subjects cannot be understood. But even those subjects that can be understood, we need the mercy of Krishna and our Guru Vargas. Without their mercy, nothing can be understood. This is not material science where we try to understand, oh yeah, I understood. It has to descend down. The mercy has to descend down. And it has to be revealed in our heart. And that is when we understand it. That is when we actually understood it. Till that point, we know it, but we actually don't know it. That's kind of our state of sadhaka. So we as sadhakas, we just have to look for mercy, dear devotees. And mercy has to descend down. And that can come only when there is love. And when the two hearts exchange, that reciprocation happens from Krishna. He sees your sincerity in desires. He sees how much you hanker for his association. He sees how much you are trying to please him every day. And that is when he would reciprocate with us. So we have to patiently obviously as devotees, we have to patiently wait for that mercy. So now coming back to the story of Pratapara Maharaj, he experienced what? Prema, the love of God, love of Godhead, and this is the most precious gift that anybody can get. And this is what Pratapara Maharaj got. And he became an ardent follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after that. And Sri Jagannath Temple itself is the temple where people worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Lord. And among the beautifully presented ancient temples, if you look at it, this temple officially recognizes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the incarnation of Lord. And this is the glory. And then Pratapara Maharaj, he declared Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as God, and he proclaimed that every city and every village should have a temple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Orissa, and everyone should worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this pastime was very touching to my heart, because we have several pastimes from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which actually proves us that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different than Krishna himself, and he has come with the mood of Radha Bhav. And this is how he practically teaches people by actually showing what love of Godhead means. And again, we are able to understand that these feelings of emotion, when we actually perfect in our devotional life, is something so blissful, so satisfying. And this is what Pratapara Maharaj actually got. I thought I wanted to bring this point to talk about this theme that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different than Krishna himself. So this is the first theme that we saw. Now, coming to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, as I told you, he explained what love meant and how this love is made available. Because if this love is made available without actually giving free will to a devotee, what happens? Oh, I will love Krishna, you will love Krishna, everybody else will love Krishna, because we are forced to love Krishna. This free will is given for a reason, isn't it? We all have to think about it from that perspective. I'm given a free will, and each and every action that happens through the day, I can actually every perform. If I consciously act, I can try to please Krishna in every act of mine. I'm given that free will, or I can choose to act in a way I want. Oh yeah, that is pleasing to my senses and my mind. I can definitely choose either one option. And Krishna gives the free will to test to see if we actually really love him. And how if I really consciously strive to make an effort to love Krishna each and every time, and through my actions, if I'm showing, through my intentions, if I'm showing, then Krishna will definitely be pleased, isn't it? So this concept of free will actually is beneficial for each and every devotee, because this actually gives us the freedom to love Krishna, freedom to love devotees. So I thought that was interesting. And then in all other yuga also, the incarnations come down and they preach the mantra, they give different mantras. But in Kali Yuga specifically, we have Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this Hare Krishna mantra is the Taraka Brahma. It's called Taraka Brahma because the sound allows the person to be released from the clutches of the bondage of matter. This is what Kalishantara Upanishad, the part of Vedas, explain what this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is about. It's the Taraka Brahma. Taraka Brahma means the sound that allows a person to be released from the clutches of bondage. There is Taraka Shakti in it. But in our age, in this age of Kali Yuga, there are two Shaktis that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has put in. Usually in ordinary days, in ordinary times, ordinary ages, there's only one Shakti in the sound, that is Taraka Shakti. Taraka Shakti allows a person, as I told you, to free from the bondage of matter and the material desires. There is another Shakti called Paraka Shakti. And what does she give a person? The ability to find the highest love. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has specifically given us, specially given us. Aren't we also fortunate, dear devotees? The highest love is embodied in this mantra. And I definitely feel fortunate and blessed to even know this mantra. And to be able to chant the mantra is even more glorious. To chant the mantra with attention is even more glorious. So we are all blessed, dear devotees. We should always have gratitude to our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the acharyas who have given us this valuable treasure, this treasure, the highest gift that nobody else have. I mean, we may have got a lot of things in our material life. Oh, I have, I got a good husband. I got a master's degree, a PhD degree. We may have many designations, many things materially, and those things are all temporary, and they are not going to give you they are not going to give you the bliss that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come here to give us. And this is very special. This is what Kali Sara Upanishad says, which is a part of Vedas. And I thought this was special as well. And again, faith is what is needed for a devotee. The more we have faith in our acharyas, and the more we have faith in the shastras, then our progress will be leaps and bounds. So we definitely have to strive hard to learn to understand the shastras as much as possible to our capability. As I told you, this all needs mercy, and the mercy has to descend down. As much as possible, we should try to avoid offenses, and that can definitely help us alleviate in this path of Krishna conscious movement. So now we will go to the second theme and try to understand what that theme is all about. As we saw in the last purport, Krishna is having the different weapons, and I thought we'll just go through some of them and try to understand those from that perspective. So it's interesting. Again, these weapons that Krishna uses are eternally there with him, but we have it in the form of pastime to make it to make the Leela interesting. So the first thing that we are going to see is about Kaumodaki. So what is this Kaumodaki meant to do? So we will see the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.28.28. Kaumodakim Bhagavato Daitam Smareta, Kaumodakim Bhagavato Daitam Smareta, Diktam Arati Bhata Sonita Kardamena, Mala Madhuvrita Varuta Giropi Gushtam, Chaitasya Tatvam Amalam Manimasya Kante. So, this club, which is called Kaumodaki, is very, very dear to Krishna. What does this club do? One may ask. And the answer is that this club actually smashes all the demons who are the inimical soldiers of the Vaishnavas. And this Kaumodaki is always smeared with blood. So if you look at Kaumodaki, it is always tainted with the blood of the demons in its endeavor to actually protect who? The devotees of the Lord. These demoniac people, they constantly rebel, right? They constantly rebel and they trouble the devotees who are very, very virtuous people. So now there is this club of the Lord. It's actually meant to punish the demons. Again, this club is not meant to take revenge on them, but basically their mentality has to be rectified, right? Their demoniac mentality, their vicious mentality, that has to be rectified. And in order to give a token of punishment to them, they have to experience a reaction through this Kaumodaki club so that we can actually rectify themselves and their mentality. This is what the Kaumodaki club does. So this club is very, very dear to Lord Krishna, and he uses this as an instrument to smash the bodies of the demons and mix it with their blood. This is what Kaumodaki does. On the contrast, Srimad Bhagavatam, the same particular verse, actually talks about a contrasting point here. So I'm going to go through that as well to actually show you the contrast and be able to see this very evidently. And what is that contrast? We are going to see right now. Mala Madhuvrita Varuta Giropi Gushtam. What does that mean? The bees are attracted to the honey in the flowers. But in the spiritual world, even when a flower is plucked in a tree, it is put as a garland, right? When we actually pluck flowers and we actually make a garland out of it and we put it to the lordships. And what happened there? The flowers are so fresh in the spiritual world that still there is honey in the flowers. And because of this honey, what happens? The honeybees are, oh wow, honey is still coming out of the flowers, and the honeybees they are so attracted to these honey coming out of the flowers. Thus, whatever mala the Lord is wearing as a garland, it is being attracted by the bumblebees, and the Lord is always surrounded by the bumblebees, which are attracted to the fragrant garlands, honey laden garlands. So this is the point. And then the last paragraph actually talks about, Srila Prabhupada is talking about Chaitasya Tatvam Amalam Manimasya Kante. It is saying one should actually meditate on the pearl necklace of Lord's neck, which is considered to represent the pure entities who are always engaged in his service. So we all know there are two kinds of living entities. Okay, one is Arati, that is, they are demoniac people, and the second category of people are Amala. These people are devoted people. The Arati people, they are demoniac people. They have no sense of subordination to the lordships. They are very much averse to the process of devotional service and process of hearing about the glories of the holy names of the Lord. But there is another category of people. They are Amala. They are devotees of Lord Krishna. They are very, very devoted to him. They are very, very attracted to actually talk about the glories of the Lord. And Krishna holds those devotees very, very close to their heart. Why? Because they want to hear about the glories of the Lord, because they are very eager to practice the process of devotional service. So he wants them as a pearl necklace around his neck. While the club is tainted by the blood of the demons, which is what we saw, the devotees actually say close to the heart as a necklace around his neck. This is the contrast between the devotees and how the Lord is actually protecting the Lord through his weapon, that is Kaumodaki, and this Kaumodaki is always tainted with the blood of the demons. This is the difference between the position of the devotees and the demons that Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to say as a contrast. Hope you all enjoyed this particular episode of Kaumodaki. Now, let's try to understand Sudarshana Chakra. Now, specifically, I want to talk about how the Lord actually got his Sudarshana Chakra. So, we will go back to Mahabharata, okay? In the Mahabharata, there is a story associated, which actually talks about how Lord actually got his Sudarshan Chakra. It is described that when Krishna was in the forest, in the ashram of Sandipani Muni, at that time, Parashuram came there. Okay, and when he came there, Sandipani Muni, he was so happy. Oh yeah, he felt so honored to have his presence. And he asked Krishna, can you please attend on Parashuram? And then Krishna, playing the role of a Kshatriya king, honoring Parashuram as a Kshatriya, he said, oh, Parashuram, can you please bless me? And Parashuram said, what can I bless you? You are the Supreme Lord. And since you've asked me for a blessing, I will give you my blessing. And immediately, what did Parashuram do? He raised his hand and Sudarshana Chakra appeared. And he gave it to Krishna and he told Krishna, now you have performed enough pastimes. You have to get on your serious work. You've done so many pastimes, Krishna. It's enough. We have to get down to the business. You have to start performing serious work. That is what you have come here for. These Kshatriyas now, because of now your absence, what is going on is Kshatriyas have become so intoxicated by power. They have become godless. They have become atrocious. And now you will have to discipline them. These ungodly kings have to be disciplined, and this can be done only by you. Get on to serious work, Lord Krishna, and you re-establish Dharma. This is what I want you to do. So take this chakra and start off your work. Krishna accepted this as a blessing from Parshuram and he received this Sudarshan Chakra. Now, of course, Parshuram is not the source of Sudarshan Chakra. Oh, you may all wonder, oh, Mataji, what is this? Is Parshuram the source of Sudarshan Chakra? Not at all. Sudarshan Chakra eternally belongs to Lord Krishna. So eternally belongs to actually Lord Vishnu, and Krishna is the source of Lord Vishnu. That's how we have to understand. Sudarshan is always there with him. But then when the Lord performs certain leelas, he descends. He acts like an ordinary human being and sometimes performs pastimes. And he demonstrates these extraordinary power. And we can see this power through his leela. So this is simply a leela to enhance variety to the pastime, provide us some sort of rasa, right? So in this pastime, we are able to see that Sudarshan Chakra is actually received by Krishna from another incarnation of his Parashuram, right? Another incarnation of his Parashuram. This is the understanding of how Lord actually got his Sudarshana Chakra. Now, coming back to the episode of pastime associated with the Sudarshan Chakra, we all know from Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Ambarish, he offered prayers to Sudarshan Chakra, and how this Sudarshan Chakra became so merciful to Durvasa Muni, right? This is an episode nobody can forget. This is an episode nobody, can forget also, because we've been taught from our childhood about Durvasa Muni's pastime with Ambarish Maharaj, and this is very close to our heart. But again, in the episode of Srimad Bhagavatam 9.5, we actually see Ambarish Maharaj specifically offering prayers to Sudarshan Chakra. I thought we will probably go through that particular section from Srimad Bhagavatam and conclude today's class. So that way. So by the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Durvasa Muni, what happened? He, when Vishnu told him, no, I cannot help you. You have to actually go and beg for forgiveness from the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj. What did Durvasa Muni do? Durvasa Muni went to Ambarish Maharaj and fell at his lotus feet. Maharaj Ambarish, he became very, looking at this particular Durvasa Muni actually bowing down, paying obeisances to him, falling at his lotus feet. He became very shy. He became very ashamed. And because Durvasa Muni has fallen in his feet, and thus he began to offer prayers to Sudarshan Chakra to save Durvasa Muni. What is this Sudarshan Chakra now? This Sudarshan Chakra is the killer of the prowess of all weapons, the killer of darkness, the manifester of the prowess of devotional service. What does it mean? It means that the Sudarshan Chakra is meant to establish religious principles. It is the killer of irreligious activities. This is what the Sudarshan Chakra is meant for. And without his mercy, this universe cannot be maintained. And therefore, Sudarshan Chakra is employed by who? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because this universe cannot be maintained without the chakra. And Ambarish Maharaj actually prayed to the Sudarshan Chakra to be merciful. And Sudarshan Chakra, he, because of the prayers, when the prayers are sincere, when it comes from the heart, the Lord is pleased. And the weapons are no different from the Lord. The Lord's paraphernalia is not different from the Lord. And hearing this, the Sudarshan Chakra, being appeased, refrained from killing Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni thus achieved the mercy of Sudarshan Chakra. And through this, of course, through this episode, what can we learn? Durvasa Muni, there are so many learnings, but one thing is Durvasa Muni felt that he should actually give up this idea of considering Vaishnava to be an ordinary person. Vaishnava Jati Buddhi, that mentality has to be given up. Vaishnava is not an ordinary person. Definitely, Lord and Lord's Tadiya are very, very special. They have to be treated with a lot of respect and reverence, and they cannot be considered ordinary. And Durvasa Muni actually understood that he had this mentality of considering Vaishnava to be an ordinary person. And we know the episode where Ambarish Maharaj belonged to a Kshatriya group, and Durvasa Muni considered lower than a Brahmana, because he was a Brahmana. He had Brahminical powers. He thought, yeah, Kshatriyas are lower than me. So we should understand for Vaishnavas are beyond caste and religion. And we should stop. And Durvasa Muni's learning point was that he should stop having mischievous, neglecting Vaishnavas. And Ambarish Maharaj actually gave Durvasa Muni, after that episode, he gave Durvasa Muni sumptuous food to eat. And so Ambarish Maharaj, we all know, after this episode, he actually divided the property amongst the sons and went to the Manasarovar lake and started executing devotional service full time. This is the mood of Ambarish Maharaj. So I just wanted to bring out this episode of Ambarish Maharaj offering prayers to the Sudarshan Chakra to actually show how the Sudarshan Chakra is so merciful. It heard the devotees' prayers and immediately forgave Durvasa Muni. That is the mercy of the Sudarshan Chakra. And also, It is the strongest force of time. Sudarshan Chakra is the strongest force of time. This disc of Sudarshan Chakra, this wheel that the disc symbolizes the cyclic nature of time. The disc of Sudarshan Chakra, and the meditation on the, what it does is it inspires the intelligent people to return to the place where Krishna usually doesn't carry any weapon. Where is the place Krishna usually doesn't carry a weapon? When he's actually enchanting and playing a flute. And this magical music, that is the place of Goloka Vrindavan, where there is no violence there. It is just a world filled with love. Eternal spiritual world is a world full of love and rasa. And when we go there, only love reigns, nothing else. So this is the place when we actually do meditation on the disc. This is what happens. We go to the abode, which is so blissful, where the Lord is seen without his any weapons, but he's just in this beautiful form, playing the flute, and this place is a place of love, and this place full of rasa, and this is what every devotee hankers to go. And I thought that this particular pastime of Amrish and Durvasuni and the Sudarshan Chakra, so nice. So many learning points from there, and how Sudarshan Chakra was got is something that was new to me as well, which is got from the episode of Mahabharata. So just wanted to talk about Sudarshan Chakra, and also wanted to talk about Kaumudaki. But there are other beautiful pastimes which are covered in the various episodes of Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a beautiful episode of Varaha with Hiranyaksha, where he's trying to fight and using his weapon. I wanted to discuss that, but again, I think I'll probably not be able to cover those pastimes because of lack of time. With this, I'll conclude today's class and today's class for today. And thank you so much, dear devotees, for patiently listening to me. Hope you all enjoyed the section. And if you have any questions or comments, you can let me know. But before that, I just pay my humble obeisances to all of them. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. And thank you, dear Preeti Vilasni Mataji, for approaching me. I felt so good to talk about glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and probably talk about glories of Srimad Bhagavatam as well. So you made it very special for me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada, thank you, Mataji, for covering so many different facets of these verses and putting it all together in a single class. Thank you so much for that. Mataji, I really liked one point you said is about the chakra, that if one sincerely offers prayers to the chakra, that is the king of all weapons and that can destroy everything, one goes to the abode where there is no need for any weapon. I think that was very, very beautifully said by you. And I also like the way you said with so much emphasis about one should not consider a Vaishnava to be an ordinary person, especially a Vaishnava like Ambarish Maharaj. So that was very nice, because Vaishnava Jagdipati should not be there. And that is, especially for great advanced souls like that. So thank you for these two meditations, Mataji. Mataji, I did have some questions. I have like 4 or 5 questions. So I
hope I'm able to answer, Mataji.
Yeah. So Mataji, the first thing I wanted to ask is about the King Pratapara, right? So you did talk about his past, his fight with Krishna Devaraya, and also you mentioned that Krishna Devaraya probably fought with some ill motives, and then Pratapara would chant the Bhagavatam before going to work. So is there any like proper references for this, Mataji?
Oh, this is actually talked by Maharaj, Bhakti-Jnana Goswami Maharaj in his lectures.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just happened to note it down because it's coming from Maharaj. I probably don't have any reference for it, but that's the source.
And I was under the impression that the Sudarshan Chakra, Yes, Krishna always holds the Sudarshan Chakra, it's his eternal weapon. I was under the impression from the Mahabharata that Agnidev gave it to him. He gives both the, in this particular episode, both the chakra as well as maybe one more weapon. So, as far as
Yes.
any lecture person.
So this particular episode from Mahabharata was spoken by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, where he clarified that this was given by Parshuram.
Oh, okay.
In his Mahabharata series.
Is it in the Mahabharata?
In the Mahabharata, that's what he quoted as a reference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is directly coming from Mahabharata. But again, Mataji, there could be various pastimes also. Maybe in different kalpas that could have happened. So this is just again, Lord eternally has it. It's just that these pastimes are there to give us some rasa and feeling to it. So it could have happened. I mean, your what you're quoting as well is it could definitely be valid, and it's just that it could have happened at a different time.
Okay. And the other question I had was about when you were talking about the Taraka Mantra, you said something else too, right? Taraka Mantra and some
the Paraka Mantra and the Paraka Mantra, P.
What does that mean, Mataji?
Paraka Mantra has the love embedded in it. So this mantra has the love already embedded in it. So that is what is
so
the
what
meaning.
Is the Paraka Mantra?
Taraka is Taraka, you mean?
No, what are the two and what are their meanings?
Okay. So the one mantra that I told is Taraka Mantra and Paraka Shakti. Taraka Shakti is it allows one to be free from the bondage of material desires, bondage of matter. The other one is the ability to find the highest love. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has specifically given this, and these both Shaktis are embedded in this mantra, which is what Kali Shankarana Upanishad says.
So the T1 is the love of God, and the T1 for liberation, is it?
T, Taraka, T for T as in T is Taraka Shakti, and P as in 10 is Paraka Shakti.
Yeah, so what is what, Mataji? The Tarakas for what and Parakas for what?
Taraka, T is for freeing ourselves from bondage.
I see. Okay.
And the ability to find the highest love is Paraka.
I see. Okay. Nice. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Mataji, you've been so attentive. That's what I can say. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Yeah. Shivani Mataji, you want to take questions and open the floor.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for a very, very nectarian and sweet class. You explained all the verses so beautifully. Dear devotees, we are opening the forum for any questions or realizations. Please do not ask any personal questions, as this class is recorded and shared in different forums. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who has any questions or would like to share their realizations at this time?
Hare Krishna, HG Kasturi Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gopinath ki jai. As usual, Mataji, very, very inspiring class, so confidently and so sincerely you take us in a dham. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gopinath ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Thank Krishna. You, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very, very good to hear from you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Kasturi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the beautiful class as usual. Your class has a lot of realizations and a lot of points from different scriptures. You put a lot of effort, Mataji. Thank you so much for the different pastimes that you shared. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Once again, I would like to thank Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji for a very wonderful and beautiful class today and wonderful association. We're looking forward to your association in the near future, Mataji. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if there are no more questions or realization at this time, with the permission of Our Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji and all the assembled devotees, I would like to close the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Kripa
sindhu
sindhu
evacha
evacha
patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo vaishnavyo
pavanebhyo
namo namo.
vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
अनंत वेस्टविंद की जय, नामचार्य दास ठाकुर
Acharya
जी की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु और गौरांगा की जय, हर ग्रेस कस्तूरी माता जी की जय.
All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Koti koti dhanavad pranam.